Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Almighty God, your word says that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. And the men who made this country made a covenant with you. And you gave all authority to your Son, Jesus Christ. Jesus, you are our sovereign King. And we confess too many times we make things important that are not important to you. Sometimes we've trusted in things that were not a solid foundation. So would you forget our sins and remember your faithfulness? Would you turn us to you so that our nation and the city that we call home may receive your blessing? Help us to be a people worthy of the liberty that so many gave up their lives to give us. Our trust is not in money. It's not in our own wits. It's not in our wisdom. So we pray for the hearts and the character of our leaders, Mayor Dave Shaw, Vice Mayor Mark Boomgarden, our council members, Michael Pasquale, Wade Kirshner, and Tony Cole. These are the shepherds you are empowering to protect and to serve and to guide the prosperity of our city. So move in their lives, cause them to know you and seek you for guidance and help for the sake of our families and our children and our future, because on our own we can do nothing. But with you, all things are possible. So lead us, not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor.
God bless you. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Chaffin, do we have any items to report out of the special or the regularly closed sessions tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have some reportable actions. With regards to regular meeting item A, the claim was rejected. With regards to regular meeting item, closed session meeting item B, the claim, liability claim was granted or approved. With regards to C, the liability claim was rejected. No reportable action out on item D. And for the special meeting item A, the City Council authorized a waiver of potential conflict with the co-defendant Carmichael Water District and authorized the city attorney to enter in joint defense agreements or approve the same. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, agenda modifications for this evening. We will be pulling agenda item 16 for this evening, and it'll be brought back at a future meeting. So if you were here to speak on agenda item 16 tonight, your opportunity to speak on that will come up in just a moment under item 1, which is appearance of interest as citizens, because that will not be a business item this evening. Mr. Chaffin, do you have anything to add to that? All right. Then we will move on to agenda item 1, which is appearance of interested citizens. You're welcome and encouraged to participate in this meeting. Public comment is taken on action items appearing on the consent calendar or business items on the agenda when they are called. Public comment on any other items within the scope of the city's jurisdiction, including items not listed on this agenda, will be considered at this time. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Members of the public submitting written requests at least 24 hours prior to tonight's meeting will be allocated 5 minutes to comment per speaker. Repetitive comments may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express the opinions of the group. We did not have any requests turned in earlier, so do we have any public comments tonight? And I do have one speaker card. Marnie, please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Marnie Sanders, and I put 607 Plumas Street. And I'm happy to be here tonight to tell you about a wonderful event that Blue Zones Project is hosting on September 27th. And that is a farm to fork dinner in our beautiful Yuba-Sutter community, which is part of the Terra Madre Americas. So we are super excited and really honored to have celebrity chef Yia Vang, who is founder of the Vinay, who will also just bring his really powerful story about his experience as a Hmong refugee. And the Vinay is named after that refugee camp that he was born in Thailand. And now the restaurant is named after. This is a space where he takes that opportunity to tell his story. But at this dinner, he is going to prepare a traditional Hmong feast, sharing the flavors of and reflecting on the resilience and belonging and identity of his story and his history. The Terra Madre is another really significant event for us to be part of, which was created out of what was called the Slow Food Movement, which is an international network that connects farmers, chefs, and food leaders to champion good, clean, and fair food systems. Bringing this global gathering to our community in Yuba-Sutter, it's such an extraordinary opportunity to showcase our region's agricultural heritage, cultural diversity, and emerging food culture. For Blue Zones Project Yuba-Sutter, this is an event that embodies our mission to use food as a tool for the health of our community. And it highlights how food can strengthen our local food producers, expand food access, and build bridges across traditions. So we look forward to welcoming Chef Vang, and we hope that you will join us. I've left some flyers out there for you to take, and would love to see you there September 27th, 5 to 9, and it's going to actually take place in Marysville on D Street. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak on anything that's not covered in tonight's agenda? Mr. Trainer, if you have something that's not on the agenda, please go to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Mr. Trainer, I'm going to stop you real quick because that will be the next item. This is for things not on the agenda. I have your speaker card for Pioneer Energy. Okay? Don't go too far because we'll be there in just a second. Okay? Is there anybody else that has anything they want to bring before council that is not on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. All items or all matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be enacted in one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on these items prior to time council votes on the motion unless members of the council request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual action. Do we have any public comments for consent calendar items? And Mr. Trainer, that includes you for number 5. So if you want to come to the podium now, you'll have 3 minutes.
I think you're bound to determine that I'm going to get my exercise one way or the other.
It's all the blue zones.
The council are aware of the fact that I have been very interested in the Community Power Association from the very inception. I would like the public to know that the city turned on community power when it was presented to them first. I stepped out went to meetings at Community Powers, went to meetings at Pioneer, met with some of the council members, thought I had a good interest in this project because I think it's a good thing for the city. I went out of my way to make sure that the city could maybe provide some energy that was needed, extra energy that might be needed for the city. But all this came to naught because the city decided that they didn't need me anymore. I would ask the city, the council at this time, because they've already agreed and signed on with Community Power, I'd ask them a few questions. First of all, I'm going back to your agreement that you have signed. The first thing that's on there, or one of the items that's on there, is that the council will provide local control and energy resources when they're committed on with Pioneer. Have you got any resources to offer into the Pioneer group? I'm not looking at you. You're looking at me. Can you answer the question?
Actually, Mr. Trainer, this is not Q&A time. This is public comment. So if you'll state your questions, we'll get those to our city manager and they can address those back for you. Okay?
You mean that the council can't answer these questions?
This is public comment. This is not Q&A time, sir. Nothing has changed.
I guess that's the way with the city. I don't understand here arguing with you. I don't think you've answered any questions that I've ever come up with. But maybe that's the way it is. That's what we have to put up with. We did vote you into office. I think we're entitled to answers from the city, not from the employees of the city, but from the people that we put into office. It's my opinion only. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Trainer, if you have your questions, we want to get those and get those answered for you. Okay? So please give us your written statements so that we can get those questions answered. We've always timely gotten those back to you. So I appreciate you coming forward, and we will be more than happy to get you those answers. Okay?
Last time that was mentioned to me, I'll say this is for the people that are attending here. The council people did what we used to call a moonlight flit. I don't know if anybody's heard that expression. Went through the back door after the clothes went on. Thank you. Another time.
Mr. Vice Mayor, Mr. Trainer, you're done. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Through the mayor, a couple things just to clarify, since we're disclosing. Mr. Trainer absolutely was a catalyst for Pioneer Energy. He invited myself, Supervisor Baines, Supervisor Flores to his house to talk about Pioneer Energy. And for that, I am very thankful. It opened my eyes. But as one person on the council, I think we lost the voice thing. Anyway, I'll shout.
There you go. She's got you back.
Okay. As one person on the council, I am not in a position. It takes three of us to move forward with an item. And therefore, that was brought back to staff, our staff, who I have a heck of a lot of professional expertise or respect for, and knowing their professional expertise, to continue to work with this project. I do acknowledge the fact that you had requested additional information, but we don't get into the nitty gritty of these types of things. Yes, we get to take a look at the agreement. Yes, we take input and we get feedback from the community, and we provide that to our professional staff who carry the ball for us with most of this. We sit and we listen to the presentations by Pioneer Energy. We talk with our network, of which we engage with other entities that are partners with Pioneer Energy and are now our partners to find out answers to questions as well. I'm hoping you're not saying we didn't do our due diligence, because that, therefore, sir, respectfully, I would disagree with you. I think that we did our due diligence. There were opportunities for us to come back and chat with you. It looks like we missed that opportunity. I'll be happy to own that one if that's where it needs to be. But as far as not doing our homework, I would respectfully disagree with you on that that respect, whether it was Ms. Langley, members of her staff when she was with us, or the current city staff. I would defend their review, their suggestions, and their recommendations. I take them to heart. I have a lot of confidence in them. So that doesn't mean I don't have a lot of confidence in you too. I've seen you here for many, many years, and I do appreciate you taking the opportunity as one of the few folks in the community that will come up and speak. But at the same time, when you start to infer that maybe we didn't do our job, I have to push back a little bit, and I hope you understand why. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else would like to give me an answer?
Thank you, Mr. Trainer.
Go ahead.
Your time is up. Is there anyone else that has anything that they want to speak on the consent calendar?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Anyone else have anything on the consent calendar and public comment? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to bring it back to the council for action or further discussion.
Through the mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve consent calendar items 2 through 11.
I have a motion by Councilmember Kirchner. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Pasquale. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right, let's move on to business items. Agenda item 12, which is the added administrative assistant to Public Works Department and approved side letter with mid-managers unit. Ms. Rowland, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Gina Rowland, Interim Human Resources Director. On July 15th, City Council approved the creation of 3 new city departments: the Development Services Department, the Public Works Department, and the Utilities Department. When the 3 departments were created, the council also approved title changes for job descriptions to reflect their assignment to their new respective departments. These new titles included Utilities Administrative Manager, Utilities Maintenance Superintendent, and Deputy Director of Utilities. All 3 of these positions are represented by the mid-managers unit, and a side letter agreement with the unit is necessary to amend Appendix A of the Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Yuba City and the mid-managers unit to update the classification titles represented by the unit. As part of the department restructuring, it was also necessary to evaluate each department's needs for support staff. So this staff report addresses the support staff needs for the Public Works Department. Presently, support staff for the department includes 160% administrative assistant that is shared with development services, and 1 new full-time administrative analyst 1/2 position that was added during the budget process for this current fiscal year. However, the Public Works Department has a need for an additional administrative support person to provide support to fleet, facilities, and streets and engineering. Currently, this support is provided by an extra help staff member. So Human Resources has evaluated the staffing needs of the department and recommends that the City Council adopt a resolution adding 1 full-time administrative assistant to Budget Unit 1905, which is Public Works Administration. Given the hard hiring freeze that will become effective September 1st, Human Resources also requests council approval to conduct a recruitment to fill the full-time administrative assistant position with a regular full-time appointment, and is also requesting authorization for the interim city manager and the interim human resources director to execute a side letter agreement with the mid-managers unit to amend the classification titles referenced in their Appendix A of their agreement. The cost to add the new position to Public Works is estimated to be $65,840 for the remainder of fiscal year 2025-26. Approximately $12,221 of this cost will be paid for by the Vehicle Maintenance Internal Service Fund. Sufficient funds for the remaining costs are available within existing budgeted amounts and will be paid for with salary savings by holding positions vacant. Public Works Director Josh Wolf is here, and he will provide more specifics and is available to answer. Well, he'll provide more specifics about the specific positions he intends to hold vacant to cover that cost, and is available to answer any questions you may have, as am I.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Wolf, do you have any comments to add to us?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So in order to fill this administrative assistant position while keeping a balance in the budget, we looked at a few different options, and we actually chose three. We recommend three budget adjustments in order to make up for the shortfall in funding. One, we are looking to reduce maintenance worker 3 position in our streets division to a maintenance worker 2. At the time being, the streets division does not have any employees that are looking to move into the maintenance worker 3 position now or anytime in the near future. So that is a salary savings of about $24,000 a year. Next, we were, as Gina already mentioned, the extra help for fleet position. That is split between fleet and development services. We are looking at vacating that position, saving about $12,000 on the public works side and giving back $12,000 to the development services side. And then finally, the remainder of costs would be covered through, the maintenance, or the remainder in costs will be covered through holding the project coordinator position in the public works budget for 25-26 vacant. At this time, there is a larger need for administrative help, so we feel that this would more adequately serve our needs. So we've done due diligence to make sure that we can keep the budget balanced, and we appreciate your time in considering this.
All right. Any questions from the council? All right, hearing none. Is there any comments from the public concerning this matter? Any comments from the public?
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to thank Josh and Gina for working this out. And I think as we venture off onto, the new design of the departments from development services, utilities, and public works, I think the directors are going to have some unique needs as they feel are necessary for the future of those departments and its employees. And I think with Josh recognizing one of the positions that was just approved for this budget year, he's leaving that vacant, as well as a part-time position will go away, if you will. So the savings are definitely there. It's not going to cost us anymore. In fact, it'll probably still result in a net savings at the end of the day. Just shift it around to where the department head is putting his best business case forward about the department running as he wants. And so I appreciate Gina working with him and Josh looking at how the department looks moving forward. So I just wanted to say thanks for our folks and provide a little bit more clarification. Of course, my support for what they're presenting tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the council before we go to action? I'll just add one, and that's Josh and Gina, thank you, because this is a zero budget item, because we got the net savings as we talked when we started this budget year about everything having to be set zero. So thank you. I'll look to the council for action.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Move staff's recommendation.
I got a motion to have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Ayes have it. Let's moving on to agenda item 13, which is a Regional Housing Authority Richland Village Funding Assistance Request. Mr. Libby, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Good to be with you tonight. All right, so this first item, Richland Village Affordable Housing. So this is at 470 Bernard Drive. This was originally approved in January 19, 2021 as a development plan. It has most recent extension, gives the approval out until January 2027. The project's a 133 unit affordable housing development. Estimated cost $67 million, so not small by any means. To kind of refresh memories, here's a look at the architectural drawings and the site plan. So in 2021, the city committed $1 million in construction financial assistance from the city's low mod housing asset fund. There currently remains a $2.5 million gap in funding for the project. Now, the Regional Housing Authority, or RHA, has identified an additional $1 million in unrestricted funds for use, subject to its board approval, which my understanding they're actually going to meet tomorrow. And so hopefully they will be able to make a decision on that request. So RHA has requested an additional $1.5 million of assistance from the city's low mod housing asset fund to close the remaining gap. Now, this is money that was previously redevelopment agency funding. It's not general fund dollars, and it can only be used for affordable housing projects or programs. Fund has a current balance of approximately $2.3 million. You know, if staff was recommending approval for this, what we would include with that is final approval. It would be, we would hold up until they secure full project funding. That's what that means to us. Some of the benefits, well, we get 133 units of needed affordable housing. The project brings approximately $38 million of grant money investment to our community. I would note that the $38 million, it's not all RHA money. About $9 million of that 38 actually is tied to a grant that goes to Yuba-Sutter Transit. And so if RHA was not able to fully fund the project, actually Transit Authority would lose their $9 million of grant funding. I think an important point is that the city will receive approximately $3.1 million of development impact fee revenue as a result of this project going forward. Alternatives, the council can decide not to approve the request. The council could also hold off on approval and provide staff and the housing authority with direction on how to move forward. The recommended action is to, as items A, B, and C is laid out on the screen, it would approve the request, authorize the finance director to make supplemental appropriation to the fund account as listed in your staff report, and authorize the city manager or designee to approve the necessary documents for processing payment to the housing authority. Gus Becerra with the housing authority is here to answer any questions, as am I. Thank you.
Any questions from the council at this time? Mr. Levy, I do have one question because I know this project goes back a ways, but when you were talking about the 3.1 and development impact fees, we did not waive those, correct? Those are going to be coming back to the city.
Yes, they are.
Okay, that's correct. I'm going to put you on the spot, but Vice Mayor, aren't you the chair of RHA? No. Oh, you're not anymore? No. Okay. You got impeached. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, you're still on RHA. Would you like to make any comments?
Other than, you know, this is one of those projects that that has had a bit of a history, and I know a lot of hoops, and Mr. Becerra certainly and his staff have been jumping through trying to package this so that we could get approval from the state level, et cetera. So this is sort of like the final, well, tomorrow, I guess, will be the final. But, you know, this is one of those projects that's bringing money back into our, tax money back into our community. And I think you're probably sick of me saying that, but that's a good thing, was when we're bringing our money home, especially for housing.
Absolutely. Councilman Kirshner, likewise, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're the current chair of Transit. What's the $9 million mean to Transit?
What does it mean to the community?
To Transit.
The Transit, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah. I mean, to have this project move forward to address affordable or really any kind of housing for that matter is progress in the right direction. So it's absolutely huge. Yeah.
Absolutely. Before I open it up to public comments, Mr. Becerra, did you have anything that you'd like to make a few comments before we open it up to public comment?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. As Mr. Mayor mentioned, we have been working on this project for many years. We're working on an extension, not only with the development plan, but also the original $1 million commitment from the city. The most critical component is we are on our last extension with the $38 million that Mr. Libby pointed up there from state HCD. And there's also a smaller grant that we have from the California Energy Commission of about $900,000. We're also on our last extension. With the receipt of our tax credit financing award, we have until October 26th to close the deal. If we can't close, then the $38 million from HCD and the $900,000 to the California Energy Commission has to go back because we are on our last extension. And so essentially the deal just dies. So we're just out of time. And so your consideration tonight is critical, and that of our board tomorrow. I'd be happy to answer any questions or any concerns or comments. But I guess that's the point I'd like to make. We're really out of time.
All righty. Thank you. Is there any comment?
Through the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Sir, so it's just getting the deal done, not breaking ground.
If this council approves this large component of the gap and our board approves it tomorrow, we're putting shovels in the ground around first week of October.
So it is tied to you
Absolutely.
getting shovels in the ground.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's imperative.
Yes.
All right.
Any other questions from Mr.
I do have a quick question that popped in my head when you showed the actual physical map of this. And the reason why I'm asking the question is this kind of got a while back, the county had an issue with this because of the proximity of building next to the airport. And these are 2 or 3 story buildings. They've got permission from the FFA to do this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So all environmental reviews that include the airport commissions have been cleared. Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the council? All right, Mr. Becerra, thank you. Is there any comments from the public? Any comments from the public on this? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council for action.
Through the mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to take action on Regional Housing Authority Richland Village Funding Assistance Request. Recommendation, adopt a resolution to approve the Regional Housing Authority's request for the financial assistance for the amount of $1.5 million for the Richland Village Affordable Housing Project, and B, authorize the finance director to make the supplemental appropriation to $1.5 million to the Fund 298 account 6098-65305, and C, authorize the city manager designee to approve the necessary documents to processing the payment of the funding request for Regional Housing Authority.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Becerra, I think you got a loud, go get the shovels in the ground from this council. Okay? Mr. Libby, thank you very much. You don't get to go anywhere though, do you? Let's see. Item 14,
We will keep rolling.
conduit financing for Richland Village.
Okay, Tax Equity Fiscal Responsibility Act, TEFRA. Promise I didn't come up with that. Okay, so the Tax Equity Fiscal Responsibility Act requires a public hearing. This is really a check the boxing this is for the Richland Village Apartments, the companion item. So when a jurisdiction or an organization, the housing authority in this case, is going to be issuing tax exempt financing or tax exempt bonds, in order to comply with the IRS code, one of the obscure items is they have to hold a public hearing in the jurisdiction in which the financing is proposed to be provided. And in this case, because Richland Village is in Yuba City, here we are. Here's some facts about Richland Village, kind of how the units will be divvied up based upon area median income. Something a little bit different from the last presentation. So the California Municipal Finance Authority, or CMFA, they're a joint power authority, and they're formed to assist governments, nonprofits, and businesses for the issuance of both taxable and tax-exempt debt. So it's important to note that the debt that's to be issued by CMFA will be the sole responsibility of the borrower, in this case, Richland Village LP. Yuba City has no financial legal obligation or responsibility. Our role is to conduct that public hearing for them. There's no impact to the general fund as a result of this item. So the recommendation to your council is to please conduct the public hearing, adopt a resolution approving the issuance of the bonds by CMFA for the benefit of the Richland Village project per the section code listed on the screen. And I'm here to answer any questions. And we also have representatives from CMFA if you had any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Libby. Is there any questions from the council? Any questions from the council? All right. Seeing no questions from the council, the public hearing on conduit financing for the Richland Village Apartments project located at 470 Bernard Drive is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on this issue, please provide your statement via public comment. State your name and address for the record. Do we have any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? Hearing no comments, I'm going to close this public hearing and bring it back to the council for action.
Through the mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
move to adopt a resolution approving the issuance of the bonds by the CMFA for the benefit of Richland Village LP, the borrower, to provide for the financing of the project. Such adoption is solely for the purposes of satisfying the requirements of TEFRA, the code, and the California Government Code Section 6500 and following.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Libby. Oh, you don't get to go anywhere. You're up here again. I'm just getting ahead of myself. I'm thinking it's got to be dinner time or something, right? All right. So let's move on to agenda item 15. The Zone Code Amendment, ZC 2501, rezoning 2502, the Plumas Street Overlay District.
So this item is for council's consideration of an ordinance that would approve the zoning code amendment rezoning. It would establish a overlay districts in our municipal code. It would adopt what's called an X28 district, which basically would establish our downtown Plumas Street overlay district. And it would prohibit new tobacco and vape retailers in our downtown, as well as retail stores that sell beer, wine, and distilled spirits for off-premise consumption consistent with a type 20 or 21 alcoholic beverage license. And then it would rezone the properties into the overlay district. So this item actually was brought to our attention this spring through letters from our Downtown Business Association, as well as the Blue Zones Project. And the request actually came from them. We brought it forward to your council May 20th. You may remember the council agreed to initiate the item, and then we took it forward to the Planning Commission on July 23rd. They conducted a public hearing and unanimously recommended approval of the item to your council. So this is primarily in our downtown area. So if you think of, so you'll see if there we go. Calusa Avenue or Highway 20 on the north. You got Bridge Street on the south. You do have Center Street, Scott Street, a parcel or two here on Forbes Avenue that are also included. And so overlay districts are really just a land use tool. It allows us to add additional requirements or limits on uses of specific properties, and that's in addition to the base zoning of the property. The map shows kind of before and after. Really, the important thing is the X28 is added to the zoning, shows that it's going to be in that overlay district. The devil's always in the details. So when you look at the language that we prepared for the overlay district, it kind of talks about the applicable area. We have some definitions for both smoke shops and vape shops, and then talks about restrictions. So the city's not looking at putting anyone out of business if they had a business in this area. It's really for new uses. So any new smoke shops or vape shops, they would not be able to get established in this area. Retail stores authorized. So this one we're really talking about is like convenience stores. That's I think was the first thing that came to mind. And you'll see at the bottom of the slide, it talks about non-conforming uses. So if there's a business within this area that was a smoke shop, and if they ceased operation for a year or more, under our code, they would not be able to allow to reestablish. Now, if they go out of business and 6 months later, someone wants to start back up again, then they would be considered grandfathered in. Now, at the public hearing at the Planning Commission, I thought there was some really good, there wasn't a whole lot of public comment, but there was a really good public comment from a member of the public. And it talked about the idea of being able to have wine tasting in the downtown. And if there was wine tasting, somebody might want to buy a bottle of that wine, right? And so the strict reading of the language here in item C, that falls under a type 20 license. And so initially, we're like, oh, that's just not going to work. But the Planning Commission, I thought, had interest in it, and they did recommend approval of what you see before you. But afterwards, we kind of took that to heart, and we tried to figure out a way to make that work. And so the next slide here is going to show you similar language, but you'll see, but not including wine tasting where customers can sample wines that may be paired with food and have the ability to purchase sampled wines. creates an exception for that use that I think could really be a potential asset for the downtown. And so if your council makes a decision to introduce the ordinance tonight, we would ask that you specify either the alternate language that we have here, so then we can carry that forward into the ordinance for adoption on September 2nd. Environmental review. So this is actually exempt from environmental review because we're actually limiting existing permitted uses that are already allowed to occur out there. So we're kind of taking a few of those away. And because of that, it allows us to fall under the general rule of CEQA, section 15061B3. So the recommended action is conduct a public hearing, and I promise you I will not read that to you. But basically, it's introduce the ordinance, and we ask that you specify if you are interested in the alternate language or not, so we can carry that forward for you. I'm happy to answer any questions. We also have representative from the Blue Zones project here tonight also. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Libby. Before we open the public hearings, any comments or questions from the council? Vice Mayor.
Through the mayor, thank you. Mr. Libby, when this first came up, there was a comment about the grandfathering, and it was a year, and I think I made the comment, why not make it 6 months? So, I mean, I'm not trying to put anybody out of business, but it seemed like a grandfathering for the smoke or vape shops, et cetera, giving, a vacant building to sit there in a year, and then it could, sometime within the year, if I'm hearing you correctly, they could come back in and do the same thing. Is there any reason at all that we couldn't make that 6 months?
It would take a additional code change to make that happen. Yes, it can be done. It depends on the urgency, so dedicating the staff time to do it. My initial thought would be, hey, we're going to be embarking on a zoning code update, and so it might be good to include that with it. It depends on the urgency the council feels.
And just out of curiosity, and I hear what you're saying, that certainly I think defer to the zoning, but why a year anyway? I mean, is that just the kindness of Doug Libby's heart, or?
No, the 1 year, I have no attachment to it. You'll find in a lot of codes, they tend to go to a year.
Okay.
So but you got to think of it, it's a double-edged sword. So there could be a business that, as a council member, you like, that you may want to see reestablished. And so a year gives a time for that to happen, right? And so it gives some time for it to be reestablished. Whereas if you shorten it up, you better act pretty quick.
I like nimble, man. I think, let's be quick in business. Anyway, I would, obviously, I may have colleagues that feel similarly, but if we have a zoning code update coming on the horizon, it makes sense to me to.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
To the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Libby, so the recommendation from staff is to award this with the adjusted language, correct?
It is, but to give the previous planning commission credit, we let them know that, hey, we came up with this language, and I got some responses, positive responses from them.
Anything else, sir? Oh, okay. Anything else from the council? All right. The public hearing on zoning code amendment ZC 2501, rezoning 2502, Plumas Street Overlay District is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on this issue, please provide your statement via public comment and state your name and address for the record. We do have one card. Ms. Sanders, you have 3 minutes.
Hopefully it'll be quick. Marnie Sanders, Blue Zones Project, Yuba-Sutter, and also a board member with the Downtown Business Association, 607 Plumas Street. And I am here tonight to give our full support of the overlay district, and just want to say we appreciate you so much for your decision back in May, and also the Planning Commission's thoughtful review of the recommendation, which has been really essential in getting us to this point today. So we're just really grateful to be here tonight and for your consideration. as you know, we're also very proud of Plumas Street and the downtown business district. And it's more than just a commercial corridor. It really is the heart of our city. It's where families gather at a lot of our events, and we have a lot of thriving businesses there. And so I think this is just moving in that direction of protecting the integrity of that area, and it to be welcoming to families, and that it is presenting itself as a healthy community setting for all of us. So I just also want to express appreciation for your consideration of the amended language that Doug presented. The Downtown Business Association and Blue Zones Project supports that as well. And I have to say, so Blue Zones Project, one of their Power 9 principles is wine at 5. So we do support in moderation a little bit of wine. So on behalf of the Downtown Business Association and Blue Zones Project, I just want to, again, express our strong support of this. And I want to thank staff, Doug Libby in particular. He's been such a great steward of this work, and appreciate all of the council members in the support of this effort as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. I will point out it's almost 7 and we all still have water. So what happened? Gotcha. Is there any other comments there during this public hearing? Any further comments during this public hearing? Any other comments? Hearing no further comments on this issue, I'm closing the public hearing and bring it back to the council for action on this. And Mr. Chaffin, I believe we do have to read this as a motion, not just say per staff, and we do need to be very clear if we're going with the amended language.
Yes, that is correct. However, I can read it for you if you like, and you can say that motion. So if one of you wants to raise their hand as making the first, is that?
Okay, who? It was Mike. It was Mike. I heard from the vice mayor. It was Mike Pasquale.
And council member or vice member. Oh, no. You're messing me up here. Sorry.
Who's on first?
Yes, exactly. Councilmember Pasquale, do you want that with or without wine tasting?
Without, I'm not a wine drinker.
Okay, so without wine tasting. Okay. Here we go.
No. You're talking about the motion.
Oh, the motion. No, you take the alternate. It was, yeah, no. I thought that was a personal question. Mayor brought it into a personal note.
I mean,
sorry about that.
Sorry, we're going to digress here. See what you did, Marnie? If you'd have brought it, we'd have been just fine. Okay.
I'm glad we made that clarification before I started reading this. So, okay.
Yes, with the alternate wording, sir.
With the alternate language introduced by title only and waive the first reading of an ordinance, City Council, City of Yuba City, Funding Zoning Ordinance Amendment ZC 2501 and rezoning 2502 is not subject to environmental review, and improving zoning code section 2501 and rezoning 2502, revising Title 8, Chapter 8, Title 8, Chapter 5, Article 38 of the Municipal Code to establish for overlay districts adoption of the X28 district established in downtown Plumas Street overlay district to prohibit new tobacco and vape retailers, as well as retail stores authorized to sell beer, wine, and distilled spirits for consumption of off-premise consumption consistent with the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control Type 20 or 21 license, and rezoning certain properties along Plumas Street, Forbes Avenue, Scoot Street, and Center Street from the Community Commercial District C2, specific plan to C2-X28SP. That's
second
the motion.
Perfect. And we have a second by Councilmember Kirchner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. And we have a new zoning ordinance. Thank you, Mr. Libby.
Thank you, council. Have a good evening.
All right. As noticed earlier, agenda item 16 has been pulled till a future meeting so that we can have the most accurate and current information to bring that forward. And let's move to agenda item 17, future agenda items from the council. Is there anything from the council we'd like to see brought back at a future date? Okay. I do have one thing I want to put on our radar. I know that Mr. Bendorf and myself has talked about this, I think, ad nauseum. I want to start off by thanking code enforcement. They're doing a great bang-up job, but we have to get real serious about the pop-up restaurants and the mobile vendors around here. Because, I'm just going to call it what it is. They're stealing from the city and the residents. They have no health permits. They're not paying sales tax. And if they're going to do it, they need to do it legit. So we need to do everything we can to make our legitimate businesses succeed and deal with the ones that are what we would call illegal. So I would ask that be brought back at some point in the future.
Through the mayor, I'd like to tag along with that, Mayor. Having been right along with this code enforcement thing, I think you need to put more teeth in this and start confiscating things and making it difficult. And I'd be willing to put my own personal money up to a storage unit to take it.
Right. Any other comments or anything that, because we can't discuss it, but if you need clarification so that staff has direction, we can bring that up now. Or is there any other items? Okay. All right. Then we will move on to the city manager's report.
Talk to her about developing a legislative platform for the city. And within that work and what goes into a legislative platform is making sure we have a clear focus and vision on the types of legislation that the city could potentially introduce, or that, you know, things that we may oppose or support or stay neutral on, et cetera. And so in designing that program, which Christy is working on, it's also important, I think, that council members, if she's going to be involved in that and reviewing pieces of legislation, which she has already started to do, and we work together on discussing those, that we hopefully can then have Christy attend and provide additional support to council members for meetings such as with GSEC or with SACOG or with the League of California Cities, et cetera. So she's exposed to a greater network, but also provides that support to council. As you go to these things and they discuss a million items, it's really important that we make sure we follow up on those at the direction of council. And I've been part of a few of those, and they really work out beneficially, I think, for the entire city, but hopefully it offers some assistance to the council. We would also report on that regularly. So in your future meetings coming up, we've identified a few of them, but we would like your council to contact Christy and talk to her about the committees, commissions that you serve on. You may not have to attend all of them, but she'll be there with you to support, take notes, et cetera, and carry your direction forward with things coming back to the council. So we hope to push that forward here really soon and start that. The second piece is priority setting. Talk with the mayor and the vice mayor about setting a date for doing some priority setting and AKA strategic planning, if you will. And we're looking at the end of September and trying to find some dates right now, but I just wanted to put it on your council members' radar that that's coming. It'd be a good time to do it, and also I'm sure it'll be a good session. We've got the department heads in place, and work closely with your E-team and help set priorities for whatever time frame you want to look at. And I would be more than happy to facilitate that. Done maybe a few of them, so more than happy to do that.
All right. Thank you, sir. Councilmember Cole.
Okay, so I don't have a whole lot to report on. I was fortunate enough to spend the last part of my summer in the Balkans and then started school last week. So I'll just share that last Friday I went to the opening ceremonies of the Veterans Stand Down. It was very moving, and I just want to take about 30 seconds to share a little story. The chaplain of our chapter is Fred Young, who was my neighbor for my first 5 years of life, and my family just adored him, me especially. I would go to his house and pick cherries and play with his Brittany Spaniels. I know my dad admired him in his fathering to his two daughters. But one day he had a garage sale and had a globe at that garage sale. I was about 3. My dad brought that globe home to me, and I always credit Fred for inspiring me, because from that day on, I studied that globe like it was an icon to me. And it was motivating and inspiring to want to see the world and learn. So I just love Fred and was so happy to see him that day.
All right, Councilmember Kirchner.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been a minute since we've all been up here. It's good to have the band back together. Well, I'll start by saying transit was canceled this last time period. SASA barn ribbon cutting. Great job, guys. Folks out there at SASA, we have a facility that to be proud of now, where we can house comfortably animals larger than the ones that are currently housed next to it. Gilsheiser was canceled. The mayor and I went to the United Way Awards breakfast, where Manny Cordoza received a Volunteer of the Year, which is pretty cool. Great job. Auto Enhancers ribbon cutting, National Night Out. Staff did a great job with National Night Out. This is my fifth one. This was the best one I've been on. It had everything to do with the weather. People were out, happy. They weren't hot like it's going to be this weekend. I'd like to thank PD for putting up with me for the evening. Great job. I was asked to speak to the American Legion about the state of the city, which I was happy to do. I also was given a tour of the new facility that's going in next door to Sutter County Superintendent of Schools. It's a 3-story building. It's going to be an amazing addition to the efforts that they're already providing to our community. The government liaison school meeting was canceled because it happened 3 hours after the event at UBC High School. So that was canceled for this period. The veteran stand down was well attended, and our Congressman LaMaffa was given the opportunity to speak in front of a more accommodating group of people than he has been recently. Attended the community meeting in Shanghai Park discussion with Councilmember Cole and Supervisor Stevens about community events. Lastly, I would like to discuss what's happening with mosquito vector. This kind of ties in with a lot of things that are happening in our world. I'll go back to our strategy planning session back in January, where one of the things that was brought up was costs. And one of them being the costs of insurance. Insurance is just going through the roof. And no one knows that more than cities, counties, and special districts. And so to give you a little bit of a back history, to do their responsibility, and mosquito vector is a special district, their responsibility is to go out and look for the best deal, get the best price, best benefits for their organization. And so they recently left the health insurance group that they were with and went to it's Fire Risk Management Services, where initially their savings was in the neighborhood of about $186,000 until they were assessed close to $160,000. And that the reason for that was the costs that the insurance company had accrued that they were passing those on. And so it was kind of an emergency meeting, kind of, where we had to either give them thumbs up or thumbs down on how and when to write the big check. And so we gave them permission to do that. The what did I say? Fire Risk Management Services, when they sent that invoice out, they also released or gave the different JPAs the opportunity to be released from their contracts, which they took. And so we're in the process of going back and looking for an alternate source of insurance. But it just highlights what communities and cities and counties are going through, and that's just one component. And it's a big one. Insurance is out of control. Lastly, I would like to thank Doug Libby. Doug, you've been really patient with me for like the last couple of months. We've got members in our community that are excited about opening up new businesses. They were just here earlier, and ones that are on the other side of town in my district that you have been more than accommodating, you and Kevin, to meet with them and walk them through the processes. And I want you to know what a big impact that means to people that are in that position. So thank you, sir. And that concludes my reports.
Thank you. Councilmember Pasquale.
Thank you, Mayor. Three committee meetings. First was air quality control. Not a whole lot to report other than the misinformation in the world out there now that there's no longer going to be smog checks in the state of California. Get that off your radar. It's not true. There's going to be smog checks in California. So that was one thing that we chewed on for quite a while, and the director, Chris Brown, was very adamant about. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So the next was the Yuba-Sutter Economic Development Corporation. I'm part of that as well. And we elected new officers. Basically, the slate was still the same as it is now. It was the year before. Talked a lot about Chamber. Chamber has lost its director again. I think they're in their fourth administrator in 6 years, I believe they were saying, something along those lines. The board has reached out to the Economic Development Corporation for them to possibly absorb them. We had a long discussion about that, and that it was extended. It would be for a limited amount of time to get whether or not we want to continue on with it, maybe a year, with a 30-day opt-out on either party. So that is in the works. It's given back to the Chamber's board to chew on it and see if that's what they want to do. So that is a possibility. They would be removing the two people that are employed with the Chamber and moving them over to the EDC's offices. So that would lighten up or loosen up the agreement with the Madden House. Another big portion of the meeting was about the casino and the priority for their 350 acres and the projects that they're going to be discussing and moving forward. And the two of the items that they were really want to get jumping on is a cogeneration plant and an upscale RV park. I don't know what that is, but they said an upscale RV park. So that's what went on at the Economic Development Corporation meeting. One member, Mr. Joe Pacheco, is retiring at the end of the year, but he planned on staying on he's the Northrop Grumman representative out from Beale. So he was very adamant that he wanted to stay on for another year and not term out. So that's all the news I had for that. Went to stand down. I wasn't able to stay for the ceremony, but I was there, show them my presence and my support for them and all the great work that they do, and had a long conversation with your director, Mike. He's doing such a great job. There's several of the other organizations, veterans organizations in the North State would like to pair up with him. So that says a lot about his quality of his program that he's doing. Did a ride along a week ago last Friday with code enforcement, the pop-ups. We had PD with us. Doug, that paid dividends. We got addresses and names. And when the mayor brought that up tonight, I think we need to get more teeth in it because we've got to make it sting. We've got to make it financially not worthy to do any longer in our community and make this thing sting and stick. When you start losing resources, then it becomes not profitable. National Night Out was very successful. I rode with the fire department and actually got to go on a run, which I'd never been in a Code 3 and a big giant fire. I mean, I was like a 12-year-old kid. It was just something else. I mean, wow, you just get ripped right through town. A lot of great people out there, had great conversations. The fire department, who doesn't like a big red truck? So anyway, that was really, really good. Went to the barn out at Sassa. It is beautiful. They need some more things. So that foundation does a great job. So I told them that I would be committed to helping with some other needs that they had. Went with Wade to the Sutter County schools. So impressive. Great facility. It's actually going to be, there's square footage in the thing that's going to be making money for the school district, or for the Sutter County School District. And just a beautiful, beautiful facility. What they're going to be doing there is so needed. The CTE programs that they're providing, they've done a really great job, and I can't wait for that to be online because it's a great addition. Even if they are pulling property off the tax rolls, it's a great addition to the community. The superintendent was saying that possibly talking the Yuba City Unified School District, there's property there that could be moved because they need new spaces as well. And so a collaborative effort over there would be nice. So I think maybe we need to reach out to the school board, Yuba City Unified School District. Ad hoc meeting with Merrimack this 2 weeks ago. Is that about what it was? Things are moving forward they're getting financing, we believe. For that shortfall that they have. And so we are it's looking very, very good at this point that it's going to get done eventually. So with that, I conclude my report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vice Mayor.
You guys have been busy. I've been on vacation, kind of like Tony, I think. So I don't have as many different things. Couple things of note. I did do National Night Out and did get to ride in one of those big red things again. And boy, I tell you what, when you've come to be my age, it's hard to get up in that darn thing. It's way up there. I felt bad. And the guys laughed at me too. So, but we did go on a call. It was a medical aid, so I was happy not to be, have my EMT cert, so I didn't have to help. It was kind of a nasty call, but anyway, kudos to the PD for coordinating a National Night Out. There was a standoff between the fire engine and the, what the heck do you call that SWAT thing? The Bearcat, yeah, as to which one drew the most attention. I'm not sure who won, but it was of course, yeah. I figured you'd say that. But anyway, it's nice to see those assets out in the community so people can see, what we have to offer in the way of services. And as the other council members discussed, it's really good to connect with the community. It's one of those things where you can go out and actually have a good conversation. The Sikh Parade Ad Hoc Committee, there's a lot going on here. And, I think at some point we're going to have to report out on a more formal basis, but there's things with transportation and now we've got, the news that we all got today about the school district and the parking lot, et cetera. So I think perhaps, maybe that should be an agenda item at some point so that we can give everybody an update, a formal update. At SACOG, a couple good things going on. Number one, on Transportation Committee, a couple weeks ago, we authorized $1.6 million to help redo George Washington Boulevard. $1.6 million to take from Highway 20 south to Franklin. Thursday is the SACOG meeting. The full board will hopefully formally approve that, and then we get some money back here. Part of that also at SACOG was, I believe it's for transit anyway, is replacing 4 buses for the Transit Authority. So SACOG continues to funnel money back into not only our city, but our region. At Sutter Butte's Flood Control Agency, the highlight of that meeting was a presentation on the water control manual development for Bullard's Bar and Orville Dam. It's quite a process. This determines how the folks at the actual dam release water, how much they have to keep for storage, how much they have to keep for water usage, et cetera. So it's quite an involved process, but obviously since we are downstream, it has quite a bit of impact on us. And along with the mayor, I'm sure he'll talk about it as well, they revamped the honorary commander program out at Beale. And I have the great privilege of being an honorary commander for the 9th Intelligence Squadron, headed by Lieutenant Colonel Dom Foglia, and I intend to bring him in. I really want to introduce him to all of us and to staff as well. And his squadron, met members of his squadron, super interested in the community, and it's going to be a good thing to have a liaison between us and the base. And I'm sure the mayor will also chat about his appointment. Finally, a couple people that I would like consideration for closing the meeting. Our planning commissioner, Stacy Brookman, his father, Neil Brookman, passed away. Neil was also a member of the Yuba City Police Department. He was a long-term guy there, very connected to a lot of folks, did wonderful service to the city of Yuba City. And also Mayor Harris's father, Greg Harris, passed, and I'd like to close the meeting in recognition of both of those gentlemen, if we could do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you've heard a lot already. We all go to a lot of the same things. Before I go into those, I'm going to digress just a little bit. I want to go back to the beginning of tonight's meeting. I looked out here and saw some looks on the face like, what the heck's going on? And I want to clarify what happens during public comment, especially when things are or are not on the agenda. It's out of respect for the public and it's good order for the business. It's not a Q&A time. And we've gone through this multiple times with Mr. Trainer, especially with answering all of his questions that he's had and responding back in a timely manner. And respect Mr. Trainer. He brings a lot, like the vice mayor said. He did bring forward stuff and had some meetings, and he's had some good ideas over time. But at the same time, you can't come in and take over a meeting and try to drive questions and try to put things on the spot and do things. If you've got them, we'll be happy to do that. So if anyone is curious what happened, we were just following parliamentary procedure. And if I think he did drop us off that list, we will get those questions back to him and we'll answer any questions the public have at any time. So I just want to kind of knock that out of the park before we start. Okay. Staff, you guys are doing a hell of a job. I'll tell you that right straight up. And very impressed. I meet with the city manager every week and we talk about the things, and I tell you, you guys have really stepped up to the plate. So thank you. We're seeing a lot of things happen around here. Stand down, Michael and the team down there. Great job. The amount of people, that is the second largest stand down in the state of California. I think the largest is in San Diego or somewhere down in that area. They reach a lot of people and do a lot of good things. Vice Mayor talked about Sabufka. National Night Out. Chief, thanks for letting me ride with you. And I'm with you. I watched the big red thing pull up and I watched the Bearcat pull up and they went, ooh, what's this? And they headed for that. So, I'm scared of the hose. At the end of the day, what I took out of, and we've done, with the city, I mean, the vice mayor herself, this was our 7th one now that we've done being on the council. What I saw this year that was really enlightening, and it just speaks to the volume that both of those departments are doing, what the city's done as a whole. And you've heard it earlier when other council members were talking about, what's going on with the different departments. The community was engaged. The community, we're still Americana around here. We have a community to where when a fireman or a police officer goes into Starbucks or the local restaurant, they're going to buy their lunch, or they're going to buy them a cup of coffee. We love our people, our first responders, and our military, and that's something that makes Yuba City special. But Chief, thank you for you and your team, and thank you for letting me ride with you. That was a great experience, and I told you that night, continually impressed with your leadership of PD, and thank you for accepting the position. The Sassa Barn, great asset there. We got handed a situation, and we all remember down in South Sutter County that had to come up here, and that's going to be a huge, huge addition over there. And then As the Vice Mayor mentioned, he and I were bestowed the honors of becoming honorary commanders out at Beale. It's a 2-year commitment that we're going to get to learn more about Beale. And yes, I was at Beale, but it was 35 years ago. You would not believe the stuff that's changed in 35 years. But a large part of that is like what the Vice Mayor said, is getting Beale connected with our community, introducing them to us and the culture we have here. And so likewise, I'm looking forward to bringing my command staff in here. I was assigned the 7 Swiss. And that's, if you don't know what that is, if you ever look out there and see the big octagon radar sight up on the hill, that's me. I'm a real space cadet now. So no, it's great. It's quite an honor. I think there was about 30 of us, and just watching the interactions in that and seeing what can blossom of that in this community, I'm looking forward to. I grew up in a community that had those, and the ties to the community and the things that you can accomplish when you work that closely together is amazing. So really looking forward to where the journey will go in the next couple of years. So next meeting is coming up the beginning of September. It's the day after Labor Day. 2 quick things. Number 1, I will not be here. So Mr. Vice Mayor, you have the chair. I'm taking a vacation. And secondly, I think we need to go ahead and make a decision right now because it's been awfully hot coming up. Let's go polos one more meeting and get through the heat before we go back to suits. Everybody good with that?
Through November?
Sure. November sounds good. We'll reevaluate. I tell you what, you reevaluate the first meeting in September. We'll see where we go from there. But with this heat, there's no reason to jump back in a suit and tie. You like that, Mr. City Manager? There you go. With that, if there's no other business to come before us, I totally agree. And I was already thinking about this myself, but in honor of Neil Brookman and Greg Harris and the legacy that they've left through the sons that we know and their families, we'd like to close tonight in their honor and their memory. We will stand adjourned.
And Yuba-Sutter.Live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
the truth that comes through.